Mercer General Hospital was in complete chaos that morning. Sirens sliced through the air as paramedics unloaded patients at high speed. Doctors and nurses rushed back and forth, and the sound of agitation echoed throughout the hospital. But amidst all this movement, no one could predict what was about to happen. Suddenly, the main door burst open with a crash. Toby, a street dog with sandy fur, entered quickly, his eyes fixed and carrying something in his mouth. People began to stir, but no one imagined what the dog was carrying. He passed the receptionist, who, startled, tried to push him out, but didn't notice what was inside the bag he was holding. For nearly a decade, Toby had lived on the streets. Trusting people had long since faded away. The abuse and neglect had shaped his life in difficult ways, but hunger that he could not ignore. Toby followed his daily routine, rummaging through trash cans until he found something that made him stop. Next to broken boxes, a black bag moved. Something inside. It didn't smell like food or trash, but something alive. Cautiously, Toby opened the bag with his snout, and to his surprise, he found a baby. Fragile, cold, barely breathing. Toby felt something stir inside him. He gently took the edge of the bag and, with effort, began walking toward the only place he remembered could help, Mercer General Hospital. When he arrived at the hospital entrance, it was complete chaos, but no one noticed the dog. Toby was pushed aside by a hurried receptionist, who didn't even look down at what he was carrying. He stepped aside and ran through the corridors, passing supply cabinets and vending machines until he reached the staff lounge. There, 3 nurses were sitting, drinking coffee. 2 of them began waving their arms to shoo him out, but one, named Aaron Walker, noticed something in the dog's eyes. It wasn't fear nor aggression. It was focus, determination. She approached slowly, crouching down in front of him. Toby looked at her and, with a gentle movement, placed the bag on the floor. "It's okay," Aaron whispered, extending her hand. Toby stepped back, but the nurse looked into the bag and, seeing the baby, her heart stopped for a moment. The baby was pale and nearly lifeless. Aaron immediately called for help, and the emergency team arrived quickly. Within seconds, the baby was rushed to the neonatal ICU. While the doctors worked on the baby, Aaron stayed behind watching Toby, who refused to leave. She knelt again and extended her hand. Toby approached and allowed her to touch him. He tilted his head gently as she scratched behind his ears, the first kindness he had felt in years. 3 months later, Toby was no longer a stray. Aaron had adopted him, and his life had completely changed. But Toby's story didn't end there. One day when Aaron came home, she was holding a small bundle in her arms. Toby stopped immediately. He recognized the scent. It was the baby, now healthy, smiling and warm, no longer wrapped in a trash bag, but surrounded by love. Aaron sat next to Toby, the baby in her arms, and the dog at her feet. There, the 3 of them, once lonely and broken, were now whole. Toby, who had once been lost and alone, was now part of a family. Aaron looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude, and thought, "Sometimes the greatest heroism is not in uniforms or grand battles, but in a simple act of compassion that changes everything."